Hey everyone, Chairman here with our meta deck profile for Blue Archive. As a dedicated Blue Archive sensei, I can't wait to show off the cool stuff this massive set has to offer. Now, we don't always give this disclaimer before our deck profiles, but our meta deck profiles here on the Tressa Collectibles channel are the product of research into what has been the most popular or successful deck from the Japanese format, with a bit of massaging by the team to both fit the English metagame, as well as reach a satisfactory baseline performance. In regular size sets, this usually lines up with what we consider to be the strongest decks from the set ourselves, but especially in plus size sets like Hololive, Azure Lane, and Blue Archive, the most popular decks are not always the best performing, and vice versa. So, while we would be more than happy to play our meta lists ourselves, and we literally do in our gameplay blocks, consider these decks more of a showcase rather than an endorsement. The reason I'm starting with this disclaimer is that even with all the crazy, wacky, and fun cards in Blue Archive, the Japanese player base overwhelmingly preferred a safe, no-risk approach with the set. It's like they went to Baskin Robbins, or 31 for our Asian viewers, and chose to get 3 scoops of vanilla. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on vanilla, but don't let this deck profile fool you into thinking this set's only got basic, tried-and-true flavors. Let's take a look at this triple vanilla ice cream deck. Scoop number 1 is the Shiroko combo from the trial deck. During your turn, plus 3000 power, and when she attacks, if you have experience 2, salvage a Keyvotus character from the waiting room. I told you, vanilla ice cream. Shiroko's main draw is her incredible selectivity with no questions asked. She doesn't have to mill cards or reveal a certain level in order to grab any character you want. This main draw is also her main downside, as her lack of deck speed means you'll need to pack other cards to help you mill your deck out. Scoop number 2 of the deck is Hifumi Swimsuit combo, and this scoop is more like Vanilla Bean because it's got a bit more extra to it. When Swimsuit Hifumi is played from the hand, you can play another Swimsuit Hifumi from your hand for free, and then the first Hifumi you played gets plus 3000 power for the turn. The Climax combo gives her another 1000 power for the turn when the Climax is played, and searches the deck for up to 2 Keyvotus characters. The first one has to go to the hand, and the rest go to stock. This is a pretty standard level 3 advantage combo, similar to cards like Ichika from the quintessential quintuplet series. Nowhere on this card does it imply that Hifumi can be played at level 2, but that's all due to her best buddy and fellow Momo Friends enjoyer, Azusa Swimsuit. Azusa is a support character, giving level 3 characters in front of her plus 2000 power. Additionally, by resting her and paying 3 stock, she can play a Hifumi Swimsuit from your hand directly on the board. Not only do you have to not pay stock for this, granted you already paid 3 stock for the ability, you also get to bypass color and level restrictions, allowing Hifumi Swimsuit to be played at level 2. And Hifumi's on-play effect also bypasses color and level restrictions, so once you play the first one, you can play all the other ones in your hand, just get them on the board. Since Azusa is responsible for the entirety of Hifumi's ability to be played early, Hifumi doesn't lose any base power, which allows her to set at a chonky 10,500 power. Hifumi is a powerhouse at level 2, able to hit a gigantic 17,500 power on offense with Climax combo in front of Azusa, and generating tons of advantage if she sticks around for more than one turn. The final scoop of vanilla ice cream in this deck isn't a Climax combo, it's the best card in the entire Blue Archive set, Mika. They really wanted to import this character at the same power level as she was in the mobile game. When played from hand, Mika can look at up to the top X cards of the deck and grab any card, where X is the number of Keyvotus characters on the board. This helps grab events, climaxes, or just extra cards to fuel her second ability. On attack, you can discard 2 cards to send the bottom 4 cards of the opponent's deck into the waiting room. For every climax in these 4 cards, deal 1 damage. Every climax. This effect has been seen on climax combos such as Origami from Date Alive and Aki from Chainsaw Man, but this is the first time we've seen such power unshackled from needing a specific climax combo. Not only that, but discarding 2 cards is barely a cost at all, especially considering Mika adds a card to her hand when played. All in all, Mika is a powerhouse finisher for any Blue Archive deck and removes the need for decks to run dedicated finisher combos. It's really exactly like the phone game. When in doubt, just use Mika. Okay, I swear this is the last time I'm going to talk about ice cream in this video, but with these 3 scoops, we have the complete picture of how the deck is meant to function. The Shiroko combo sets up the Hifumi combo, and the Hifumi combo grabs in-game pieces like Mika to finish out the game. Each piece leads to the next, and while they individually are not doing anything fancy, the end result is a solid, consistent, and well-balanced deck. Now let's do a card-by-card overview of the deck, starting at level 0. Miyako Swimsuit is the primary level 0 attacker of the deck. She's always 3000 power, as long as your entire board is Kivoto's, and her on-play effect gives the clean cut effect to one of your characters. Alright, clean cut is the English community shorthand for when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, choose one of your other characters, rest it, and move it to an open back row. Named after Yukiko Clean Cut, a Persona card that doesn't exist in English. Okay, yeah, maybe this is not the best name for this kind of effect, but honestly, the first English cards to have this ability don't have very memorable names, and Clean Cut is easy to remember and say. This ability is powerful because it allows you to save an attacking level 0 character, essentially getting an extra attack for free. You can attack with a back row character, like a Brainstorm, and then use the Clean Cut ability to protect it. Miyako being able to give this ability to any character, not just herself, means she's much more useful later in the game, when 3000 power isn't going to cut it. Next, we have max copies of Mimori Swimsuit, which serves as another advantage generating card at level 0. Her ability costs 1 stock, clocks a card from the top 3 cards of the deck, and then salvages any Kivoto's character from the waiting room. Not only can this be used to level up on demand, but gives a bit of extra selectivity for which cards are going into the clock, and subsequently the level, making experience conditions easier to fulfill. The salvage has no level restrictions attached, so it can be used to grab level 3s in the late game as well. Finally, Mimori's on-field effect allows her to send herself to stock if damage is cancelled during her battle. Not only can this randomly generate an extra stock, but it can also randomly grief your opponent who needed to reverse a character for an effect. The rest of our level 0 lineup is mostly focused on utility. Hanako Swimsuit is a fantastic utility card, able to search for a character from the deck, both when she's played from hand and when she's sent to the waiting room from stage. Additionally, on play, you can look at up to the top 2 cards of the deck, send as many of them as you want to the waiting room, and put the rest back in any order you like. This ability can be used to set up 2 clean mills before a Brainstorm, or determine which cards you want to trigger in which order. There's a lot of flexibility with this card, so be creative. Ayane is our Brainstorm of choice, joining Shiroko from the trial deck. Her Brainstorm 5 effect might not offer the greatest selectivity with just draws, but this deck already has fantastic selectivity with both its combos and utility suite. The extra draws help us get climaxes and events that are hard to get otherwise. Ayane's first ability is what we're really here for. The character in the middle position of the stage will always have Hand Encore. This can be used to keep climax combos like Shiroko and Hifumi around for an extra turn, but it can also be used creatively with cards like Kana and Tressa to get an extra usage out of their effects. Also importantly, Ayane is blue, which helps us meet color requirements if we have to level a yellow level 3 card for experience at level 1. The next level 0s are all run at 1 copy and showcase a general suite of useful options Blue Archive has to offer, but feel free to customize this lineup however you want. Mari is here mostly for her ability to grab any card from the top 4 cards of the deck, great for getting a climax or event in a pinch. Yuzu roughly fulfills the same purpose, but Yuzu conserves 1 stock in favor of taking 1 extra damage. Ari's Maid is a climax swap, though it swaps from the deck instead of the waiting room. Kyoko New Year allows you to discard a card, reveal the top card of the deck, and salvage a character with the same or lower level as the card revealed, most commonly known as a Rico effect. Tressa and Kana both have abilities that send themselves from stage to the waiting room in addition to discarding a card as cost. Tressa allows you to move an opponent's characters on the board, and Kana allows you to salvage a character from the waiting room. If you use this effect in the middle position when Ayane is on the board, you can use the Hand Encore effect to bring Tressa or Kana back and then do it again. Do note that Kana's on-play effect must choose an opponent's character and prevent it from moving until the end of your opponent's next turn. This effect is mandatory and will prevent your own Tressa from moving that character. This is a literary device known as foreshadowing. Finally, Izuna Swimsuit has 2 great utility effects, one to send a card from hand to stock, and the other to pay 2 stock and refresh your deck without any penalty. This effectively allows you to decide how you want to pay for a deck refresh, either with 2 stock or with 1 stock and 1 hand. Jumping over level 1, since we've already talked about Shiroko, the only cards at level 2 we haven't talked about yet are counters. Koharu is a traditional anti-over-level counter, though she sends the opponent's character to the bottom of their stock and then removes the top card of their stock, which is as backwards as Koharu is perverted. Aru Nyurir is a plus 6 soul counter in that you can give your opponent's characters plus 6 soul to greatly increase the chance of that attack being cancelled by a climax in your deck. That's obviously quite risky if you have few climaxes left, so Arona is going to be your go-to defensive option. For 3 stock, you can decrease the soul of an opponent's character by 3. Why would we run Aru Nyurir if we already have Arona? Since Arona is an event, it's somewhat difficult to get her into the hand, especially at level 2. Meanwhile, both character counters can be easily searched by Hifumi Swimsuit or grabbed back from the waiting room if a choice climax is triggered, so the ease of access makes Aru still a good option to have in the deck. Finally, at level 3, we have Yuka Track, which can be played at level 2 with 4 or more Kivoto's characters on board. Her heal effect is uniquely strong. By discarding a card, not only does she heal the top card of the clock, but she also salvages any character from the waiting room. Use this effect to grab extra copies of her to play, or to grab Mika's for the level 3 game. Let's go over the mulligan and game plan. For the opening hand, I look to keep Miyako Swimsuit, Mimori Swimsuit, and Shiroko, along with 1 copy of Shiroko's Gate Climax. Keeping Kayoko New Year can be great going second, allowing you to discard copies of Miyako and Mimori, and then grab them back while developing an attacker. While you can keep Aris Maid and a copy of the Choice Climax to swap into the gate, I prefer to discard the Choice Climax so that early gate triggers can at least add a card to the hand. While experience is important in this deck, and you want to hit experience 2 by level 1, the plethora of level 2 and higher cards in the deck, along with Mimori's extra insurance, means you're very likely to get at least 1 card to meet the requirement, even if it's not the most ideal card. I would focus on making sure your level 0 game plan goes according to plan over keeping level 3s in opening hand for the experience requirement. At level 0, the goal of the deck is to generate a good amount of stock and find Shiroko and her climax. If you already have 2 Shiroko and not the climax, consider using Ayane's Brainstorm effect or spending stock on Mari instead of Mimori to increase the chances of getting climaxes rather than characters. At level 1, Shiroko will help you grab Hifumi Swimsuit and Azusa Swimsuit in preparation for level 2. You'll want at least 4 stock going into level 2 to play Azusa and use her effect, so try not to use up all your stock before attacking. If you're stuck at level 1, just use Ayane to hand Encore Shiroko and go for another turn of combo if you can. Since Hifumi Swimsuit doesn't heal, we ideally want to clock from 1-6 into 2-0 and then play down all our Hifumi. This means we're targeting a first deck refresh at level 1 with good compression so that we take minimal damage into level 2 and Hifumi can search from a fresh deck. With Hifumi's Climax combo, what you search depends on how much damage you think you'll take the following turn. If you expect to stay at level 2, search for Yuka Track, counters, and Mari to keep Hifumi alive for another turn of combos. If you expect to hit level 3, search for Mikas to prepare for a final turn push. At level 3, simply drop 3 Mika and win the game. If she fails to crit, the Weiss Schwarz equivalent of crit scamming is to use Arona and Aru New Year to buy yourself another turn. Ideally, you want to level blue first at level 1, and then yellow at level 2, but meeting experience requirement is a higher priority than color. Your ideal level 1 target is Yuka Track, followed by the Arona event. Otherwise, just level any card with level 2 or higher. At level 2, your ideal level target is Mika, followed by Hifumi Swimsuit. If you don't have either, just make sure you hit experience 4 at least for Hifumi's Climax combo and that you have access to yellow. If you miss experience 6 at level 2, keep in mind that Yuka's heal effect will be turned off, but it's not the end of the world. At level 3, simply level any card that gets you to experience 6. If you've already met the experience 6 condition, feel free to put any unneeded card into level. This deck plays really similarly to decks like Ichika from Quintessential Quintuplets and Mjurran from Slime, with a big weakness. In Weiss Schwarz, it's a lot easier to remove level 3 characters from the board at level 2 than it is to remove level 2 characters. Thanks to anti-overlevel counters and bombs, Hifumis are simply not safe for this world. Your first turn at level 2 might require siding with 2 or even all 3 Hifumi in order to not get backbroken by a well-timed counter, and your opponent will be doing everything in their power to send your Hifumis to every zone conceivable besides staying on stage. Don't be discouraged by this happening. Remember, your first turn of triple Hifumi already got a lot of value back, and your opponent has to waste extra resources in dealing with the board. Even if every Hifumi gets removed, a follow-up turn of 1 or 2 Yuka heals is often enough to create a massive damage lead. At the end of the day, you can always count on Mika to finish the job. There are a few alternative options for this deck. The primary one is the level 1 Azusa combo, which also salvages a character from the waiting room. The character chosen has to be level 2 or higher, which is what Shiroko will usually choose anyways. Azusa has a secondary mode in her combo to prevent herself from being reversed, which can be useful if you expect to be at level 1 for the following turn. Azusa trades the flexibility of Shiroko for more powerful effects in specific scenarios, so choose whichever combo you prefer. You could even forego a level 1 combo entirely and run Hifumi alongside a level 0 combo like Noa or Ui, or a finisher combo like Hoshino or even Aru. The sky is the limit in Blue Archive, so don't be afraid to get creative. That's it for this video. If you have any questions or comments about this list, let us know in the comments below, and we'll do our best to answer them as soon as possible. Coming up, we have lots of Blue Archive gameplay for you guys, so get subscribed and stay tuned. This has been Chairman on the Tressa's Collectibles channel, and we'll see you on the next one.